I found capped queen cells in one of my honey production hives, and I'm pretty certain that it was Supersedure and they weren't trying to swarm because there was only one cell and I saw eggs. So in the video I go over why I think it is Supersedure for the reasons I just outlined and show you what that looks like and what the queen cell looks like. All right, I believe this is another honey hive. Yeah, this is a honey hive, meaning I'm mostly looking to get honey off of it. Put these undrawn frames into the middle. They haven't got to them yet, but it'll happen. They're frosting, which means they're putting white wax on the top of the frames, so obviously they're getting some nectar somewhere. They're fattening out these frames where the foundation feeds the drawn comb, which is perfectly normal. Bees do that all the time. This is pretty much full of honey. A lot of it's from last fall, but it wasn't high enough or low enough moisture for me to harvest. And they're finally starting to bring nectar in again today, which is great. This frame's pretty full as well. Not a ton of new nectar, but a little bit. Anyway, my plan is maybe 10 days-ish. It kind of depends on how the flow goes. I will pull out these frames. Hopefully they've started drawing them. Once they're partially drawn, I will put them in a super all together and give them to another hive. So that was just my attempt to get some more comb drawn. It's a trick I learned from Gus Mitchell. Cayman Reynolds does it. A lot of people do it. So since this is a honey hive, I'm only looking for 2 frames of brood. And the last 2 queens have jumped right out at me. There's a dog over there, that's why I'm confused. Dog, don't come over here. I've never seen this, never seen a dog at this property. Crazier things have happened, I suppose. Anyway, so I'm trying to get 2 frames of honey, or brood, capped brood, and I'll shake some extra bees in to make sure there's enough. So this frame isn't super full. It's got some capped brood on it, but it doesn't have any eggs on it, which means it'll be a lot easier for the bees to take care of. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that frame. So here's a frame. It has a little honey on it. This hive is kind of light, so it's no big deal to give them another frame of that. They should eat it right up. So here's some queen cups. Well, I missed on that one, so I don't know if there's eggs in them. But I will look at one of the others. I don't see any eggs. There's a bee inside of this one, but no egg. So if you see a queen cup, it doesn't matter unless you see eggs in it. So this is probably not one of my best queens. This frame isn't that full. I mean, one frame doesn't determine how good a queen is, but she's just not one of my most prolific. Not a great pattern, but that's pretty good. So I'll take this frame, probably. Let's see, there might be a better one. So she'll be one of my first to requeen. I requeen all my queens every year, so I have the youngest and strongest bees possible. So this is full of young brood. Started to get this done, not quite yet. The reason why I'm splitting these honey hives is because, well, first of all, I don't want them to swarm. They may not swarm if I don't split them, that is entirely possible. But by splitting them, I'm giving myself a much better chance of not letting them swarm. And I just need to make a lot of splits, so it's good to have some extra brood to be pulled. So here we go. The other 2, the queens have popped. Oh, wow. There's a capped queen cell. Huh. So there are eggs in here. I think I've seen eggs. Yeah, I see eggs. And there's a beautiful capped queen cell right there. So I would guess they're superseding their queen. So I don't really, I don't know. I'm not sure if I should split them or not. I could, because if they were trying to swarm, oh, there she is. If they're trying to swarm, then I know that I'm not going to lose the queen if I split them. I'm gonna check this frame for queen cells. No queen cells. All right, so I don't really know what I want to do with this hive. If I don't split them, they may swarm, and I don't want to lose any more bees than I have to. I don't really get the feeling that this hive wants to swarm. She's still laying a lot, and they already have a capped cell. So I think I'm just going to go with my gut feeling and let them requeen. And hopefully I'm not going to lose my first swarm. I've never lost a swarm before, so hopefully this is not my first time doing it. But that is a nice looking cell. And I may change my mind in a few days and just break this hive down into a bunch of splits. And because I have a ton of queen cells, way more than I need. So who knows, I may change my mind. But for right now, I'm going to take 2 frames of capped brood. So now, I'm going to do the most beekeeper thing of all, which is I'm going to just wait and see what happens. I may come back in a few days and decide to split this hive up, but for right now, my plan is to come back in 18 days. Because if I see a capped queen cell, that means it's at least 8 days old, and that in 8 days it will hatch. And then 10 days later, she should be back and laying eggs. So looks like I may not even have to requeen this hive, they're just doing it themselves. Which happens. So we'll see how it goes. I want to give them one more frame here. Alright, I'm going to add this queen excluder back on, put back on the top, and release the queen. And I'll give you an update on this hive whenever I decide to look next. So I'll be making a follow-up video about this hive in like 2 days from when this posts. Or I will film it 2 days from when this posts, and I'll post it in the next few weeks. I'm pretty confident that they either 1, superseded, or 2, frequently when a hive goes to supersede, they don't actually finish superseding and the old queen stays around. There's a good mark on her, so I'll know if they superseded her or not.